When a narcissist becomes nice again, don't do this. Ever. When you're ready to distance yourself from the narcissist or end the relationship, that's when they suddenly change or pretend to change. It's like they put on a different persona and show you a kind, nice side of themselves. They act like they're willing to go to therapy and promise you the world, saying they'll do whatever it takes to become a better person. This applies to any narcissist, whether they're your partner, friend, or even your parent. If they sense that you're about to leave them and you are their primary source of validation, they will do everything they can to keep you, even if it means suppressing their urge to control and punish you. They want to keep you there until they feel you're back in their grasp and can be subjected to abuse, repeating the cycle again. Hi, welcome to another video. In this episode, we'll discuss when a narcissist seems to love you the most and how you should handle such situations. I'll also talk about the thought process you should have. If this topic interests you, please consider subscribing if you haven't already, as your subscription helps to raise awareness about narcissistic abuse. Narcissistic relationships typically go through 3 stages: idealization, devaluation, and discard, or love bombing, devaluation, and discard. During the love bombing stage, many things happen. The narcissist creates an illusion and you fall for it. But then, slowly, they start devaluing you and withdraw the attention they once gave you. You're ignored, and they behave differently. Finally, the discard phase happens, and there can be various ways that plays out. I won't go into the details here. What's important to understand is the repeated cycle of being idealized and then devalued, and how this affects your mindset. I'll also share strategies for dealing with this cycle if you're trapped in it. The narcissist actually depends on you more than you depend on them. They are like parasites. There is no emotional depth or genuine connection inside them. They are emotionally dead. What you see is a living body without true emotions or spirituality. They interact with the world like a zombie. I hope that makes sense. They rely on you for their emotional sustenance. They feed off your emotions to feel alive and keep going. If you stop providing those emotions, they will wither away. That being said, it's not easy for them to let you go, especially if you are their main source of support and they heavily rely on you. To them, you are an extension, and they live through you. You represent what they aspire to be but cannot achieve on their own. So, you hold a significant importance in their lives. In summary, when you're ready to leave and they sense your seriousness, when you start distancing yourself, they begin to act like the person you always wished they could be. They change their behavior, pretending to be someone better just to keep you. They make grand promises and might even go to therapy. This charade can go on for months or even years in some rare cases. During therapy sessions, you may not see much progress. They might subtly shift the focus onto you or manipulate the situation by involving the therapist, if the therapist isn't experienced enough to recognize these tactics. Sometimes they may just listen and appear to change, but it doesn't last long. Eventually, they fall back into their old patterns because that's just who they are. When they seem to love you the most, they act caring and say all the right things you've always wanted to hear. They seem available for you. However, if you step back and observe their actions objectively, you'll realize that these efforts are merely attempts to keep you trapped. Their actions lack genuine emotional connection and are driven by selfish motivations. They aren't truly making an effort for you. It's about their own needs. Unfortunately, many survivors of narcissistic abuse fall for these gestures, hoping that everything will be fine and that the person they always wanted is back. This traps you in a cycle of trauma, reinforcing the bond and intensifying the internal conflict known as cognitive dissonance. Part of you recognizes that this person is a monster and you should flee, but they won't let you go. They lure you back in, creating a sense of attachment, and you become stuck. When you break free from their grasp and see their true monstrous side again, it worsens everything for you. You cycle between feeling okay and feeling doomed. The lingering self-doubt, cognitive dissonance, eats away at you both internally and sometimes even externally. It cripples you and makes it difficult to take further action. If you're experiencing this right now, I suggest taking a step back and questioning the motives behind their actions. Reflect on what might be happening behind the scenes and consider the patterns you've noticed in the relationship. Ask yourself tough questions like, Do I see similar patterns of them being kind and then treating me poorly? Examine how you know this time is different, how you know they truly want to change after years of behaving like a monster. It's unusual and raises doubts about their sincerity. Can you trust their words? Take time to journal and reflect on these difficult questions. Use your rational thinking to resist the urge to fall for their promises, even though you may have been starved for affection for a long time. Remember that your brain may blow their gestures out of proportion. Breaking free from this trap of narcissistic abuse involves gaining clarity through introspection, continuously questioning and analyzing the situation until you have a clear mind, soul, and heart. To summarize, when a narcissist appears to love you the most, it's not genuine love. They shower you with attention during this time to trap you and keep you as their source of validation. But you don't have to give in. Ask yourself deep questions. Seek support from a trusted friend or therapist who understands your situation, and make decisions based on your findings. That's all for today's episode. I hope you found it insightful and helpful. If you did, please share it with others who might benefit from it. I'll talk to you in the next episode. Until then, let the healing process begin and continue.